Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. This is the Morning Sports Desk. A lot to talk about today, Corey, including the return of kind of our daily previews for our games that we have on the broadcast schedule, which is awesome to see. And you have your first taste of Staples Motley boys basketball this season, just a week later than we thought.
Yeah, kind of a weird one here, too. It's early December, I should say mid-December. It's early season. This is a non-conference, non-section game. Of course, former mid-state conference rivals with these two teams, but otherwise, just kind of like generally speaking, this is a game for each team to just sort out their lives a little bit in the early season. Start to try to figure out, or continue to try to figure out who you are. The Staples Motley Cardinals host the Aitkin Gobblers this evening. Staples Motley 2-1 on this young season. Lost 57-50 at West Central area to start the year, but beat Frazee 73-65 and Piers 66-54. So a little 2-game winning streak going for the Cardinals as we get started. Just game 4 of the year. Of course, Staples Motley in the Heart of Lakes Conference. CJ, Pelican Rapids is the top team, 3-0 already in Heart of Lakes Conference play. They're 3-0 overall. They are going to be one of the premier teams in the entire region.
Not to give away a tease for the game that we're previewing, which features Pelican Rapids. According to QRF, and again, it's December 16th, they are ranked number 1 in Class A.
Yeah, and that's an important note about that you will cover. But you did say it wasn't a mistake. Class A. But Pelican Rapids is the number 1 team right now in the Heart of Lakes. Breckenridge and Staples Motley are each undefeated at 1-0. DGF is 3-1 somehow. They've played 4 conference games. Barnesville 1-1, Perham 1-1, Holly and Park Rapids each 0-2, Frazee 0-3. An early season look at the HOL. Aitkin Gobblers are 1-2 to start the year. CJ losing to Crosby Ironton by 1 point, 74-73, beating Pine City 58-40, and then losing to Cherry 83-64. We know about Cherry. We don't need to dive into too many details there. But Aitkin is in the Great River Conference in the big standings. The Great River Big. I don't know if there's a little standings. All I had in front.
Big River?
The Great River Conference big standings is how it's listed. Mora is 2-0. Rush City 2-1. Then there's Aitkin at 1-1. CI and Pine City are each 1-2 on the year, on the season, however you want to break it down. Looking forward to being back in the nest tonight. Couple of birds going at it. Staples Motley Cardinals and the Aitkin Gobblers, scheduled for a 7:15 pregame and a 7:30 first tip on AM 1430 and 98.5 FM The Fan.
And one more.
Moo. Oh yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's gloss over that and you do your game, but then I want to talk about this YouTube thing and just kind of dive into it a little more, because we're not hard launched officially, but we should probably make a bigger deal out of it than just glossing over it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about it in a second here, but yeah, we have what was scheduled, I think, by both schools as a section game has turned into a non-conference, non-section game tonight in Wadena. Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines 1-1 on the season, 1-1 in the Park Region Conference, a victory 48-29 over Sabika, and then a 76-72 loss to New York Mills last week. Both of those at home have set up their early season schedule, and now they get this collision course with the Pelican Rapids Vikings, who, as we mentioned, are 3-0 on the year, 3-0 in the Heart of Lakes Conference, a QRF already of 58.8 because they have 3 wins over 8 AA opponents in Perham 74-59, DGF 78-74, Holly 72-41. 47. All make up their 3 games so far this season. They set up this matchup with Wadena-Deer Creek tonight. And for the Vikings, again, they were Class AA last year, and in fact, were the back-to-back Section 8 AA champions and are now moved into Class A for the next 2 seasons. And this is a team that has a lot of star power, and they only graduated a couple players, so really returning a lot of that same unit that went to the state tournament a year ago. Instantly expected to be one of the heavy hitters in Section 6A coming into the season, and through the first 3 games have proven that tremendously, getting QRF right now 1 of 166 in all of Class A for boys basketball. So definitely a shock to the system in Section 6A, and kind of filling the gap as Staples Motley moves into Section 8 AA in their stead. So a lot of interesting factors when you look at just kind of the moving and shaking, but overall should be a good one tonight. I know Wadena-Deer Creek is a team that lost an important senior in Kobe Snyder and some others as well, but really, is a team that has some young players that they're expecting to develop. Now, that development obviously is not linear, and that develop probably not going to be fully realized tonight, but will be just an interesting storyline to watch over the course of the season to see how some of these other players develop. Your Kreklows, your Churches, your Petrowskis, your Raleighs. There's a lot of things over the course of the next few months that'll be really fun to watch for this Wadena-Deer Creek boys basketball team. And they have a really big task tonight in Pelican Rapids. I'm interested to talk with both coaches, and for Wadena-Deer Creek, looking at it like this, what a great way to kind of, as a measuring stick, see where you're at. You're going to know what you need to work on kind of heading towards that holiday break, which is not that far away. Wadena-Deer Creek will play 3 straight section games after this with Crookston. And then come the new year, they're going to go at Warroad, at Roseau in kind of a Friday, Saturday weekend road trip up north to start the new year. But overall, this will be a really fascinating 4-game stretch of what, last year was scheduled as 4 section games in a row. But Wadena-Deer Creek is going to know a lot about themselves by the time school starts again come January. So it's going to be a really interesting mark, and it'll be interesting to see what Coach Thunberg is looking out of his team over the next few weeks.
There's kind of an interesting aside here with Pelican Rapids moving sections, and it's obviously too early to start looking at some section things, but this is one of those games that will go down as Pelican Rapids would be in a normal year, we'll call it, one of the best teams in all of 2A basketball. Okay, and Wadena-Deer Creek is wherever Wadena-Deer Creek is. Now, I don't say any of this to like belittle who they are or what they're trying to accomplish as the season goes along, because they do have some kids. I saw them the other night. They've got some kids who can do some stuff, and if they can come together, I think the Wolverines will be a nice cohesive team by the end of the season. I really do believe that. But I say all of that to say, a year ago, one of the things about the QRF is the reason you schedule section opponents and good other basketball teams and teams of your ilk, of your class, is because you need all the QRF points that you can get. Even if maybe at the end of the night you knew that a win or loss wasn't going to go in your favor. Does that make sense? I'm speaking generically here, right?
Right.
But in a game like tonight now, even though Pelican Rapids is awesome and is probably a team that would represent 8AA in the state tournament,
and have for the last 2 years,
now that they're single A, a loss to Pelican Rapids by Wadena-Deer Creek is going to hurt them. Beating a 2A Wadena-Deer Creek team by a single A Pelican Rapids team is going to mean more for Pelican Rapids this year than how beneficial it could have been for Wadena-Deer Creek to lose to a 2A Pelican Rapids team a year ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, of course, because instead of it just by the pure formula, and that's what the QRF is just a formula, it looks at, are you Class A or AA? So Wadena-Deer Creek losing to a AA school, while not ideal, would bring it down a little bit, or at least not raise it, whereas losing to an A school is kind of a mark against you. And if Wadena-Deer Creek wins, well, it still goes up, and the QRF for Pelican is high, and it'll go up, but not as much as if it was a victory against a AA school. It's part of the reason, and I'm not saying it's a direct reason, and there's other things, but I think if you want to take this to a 30,000-foot view, Corey, it's also why a team like Pillager is leaving the Park Region Conference, because, and not that they don't value the rivalries and the games played and the other conference opponents, but doing the math, they want to be in a conference where there's more 2A teams, because if you lose to a good Henning Hornet team that made the state tournament last year, that's a mark against you. Whereas if you lose to a team as good as Henning, but it's a AA school, it's not that much of a mark against you. And you know, if you get a win in the conference for Pillager, it's a win against an A school, whereas getting a win against a AA school helps out. And it's also trying to get home playoff games, which is what every team wants to get, to be in the top half of their section and give their schools, their team, a home playoff game. One, because you don't have to travel, and two, just for the sake of having a home playoff game, they're easier to win. And it kind of goes into that calculus, fair or unfair. I'm not saying either way, but yeah, it is a fascinating look at just how kind of that implication can kind of make a lot of things change in a hurry. We're not being entirely fair, because the most important thing is still the QRF number. Yes.
The little 2-digit or 3-digit number after your name is the number that is most important. So we want to make sure that we're fair about this. But it is interesting to me that these teams are effectively the same teams they were a year ago. They're effectively the same teams. And one team beating the other was beneficial for the losing team. And now this year, it's not beneficial. It's doubly unbeneficial for that losing team. I just don't. And again, we're counting our chickens before they hatch, the cart before the horse, whatever it is you want to say. I don't want this to sound like I'm throwing Wadena-Deer Creek under the bus. It's just an interesting little wrinkle on all of this, I think.
Right. And of course, because again, I know people could say, well, schools know if they're going up or down because they can see the numbers, and generally speaking, sure, but you don't always know. There are things can change in a hurry and things like that. So whatever. But both of these teams scheduled this game as just, when they scheduled it was, hey, we're section opponents. Let's put it on the schedule. Let's admit that it's kind of solves the thing for each of us. And just because of the circumstance kind of adds an interesting development to that.
Right. Yeah, no, whatever. It's fascinating. And I don't know everything. The QRF number is the most important number, but whatever. It's funny. Let's talk about
the number can be impacted by the classes you play. So
of course,
because Pelican as an A school winning those games against good AA schools makes that number go up as if they were a AA school playing those.
And that's the point that we're missing in all of this, is that the number is still real. That's why the number is the most important thing.
Yep.
So the Pelican Rapids QRF is going to be stupid high when this is all said and done. And it's going to be because they're going to beat 2A schools all season long. Now, how does that make them compare to other very good Class A schools? It's not going to be a 1-to-1, because maybe some of these other very good Class A schools, let's say in southwestern Minnesota, aren't playing up like Pelican did all season long, at least as far as class goes. So it's not perfect. We're not being entirely fair. I just think that a loss to Pelican Rapids a year ago wouldn't be that bothersome, at least by class size. And it feels like it's going to be more of a detriment this year than Pelican Rapids is awesome.
They're great.
Really good at basketball.
Really good.
All right, whatever. Let's talk YouTube, huh?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, game tonight, 101.7 FM, AM 920, KWAD, and online at wadenaradio.com/KWAD, and the Hubbard Radio-Wadena YouTube page. Again, like Corey mentioned, kind of some soft launching of things. So again, we're not saying that this is the complete finished product of our games on YouTube, but we've experimented a little bit over the course of the last couple months and just trying to give a way to be able to add on to the coverage we have, because, I mean, let's be honest, YouTube is king. Everybody's watching stuff on YouTube. The Morning Sports Desk is on YouTube. And if you're already watching on YouTube, well, you don't need to go anywhere to watch the games. And I know huddles are there, and huddles are great, and they're awesome, and you should watch your school's huddle if we're not at the game. But the thing that we can offer, because again, the huddle cams are great, and we're glad the schools are using them, and that is awesome. So that is not to take anything away from that or the product huddle offers or anything. But sometimes
No, I'm just kidding.
they're jerks anyway. But looking at it, sometimes you watch a game and you go, oh shoot, like there's a mic and you can hear the whistle blow and you can hear crowds cheer and things like that. And sometimes you can hear what a coach is saying, but you don't know what's happening. Why is that foul being called? What is that coach saying? What are those players talking about? What is the score? Which some huddle cams are better than others at doing, and what's happening in the game. And sometimes even, again, you kind of can make out the faces. You can maybe see the numbers, but sometimes it's hard to know who's going where, who's doing what, who just scored that basket. And this is where I think we have the perfect merger, Corey, of adding video, but also we have our, I'm going to put words in our mouth, our great play-by-play commentary to add things. And at the very least, just to give you, we're in the gym, we're telling you what's happening, and we can add it on top of that video coverage and really make it special and really give and this is the important thing, really giving these kids, these athletes, teams, schools, just the best coverage possible to put a light and put a spotlight on the great things they're doing every single night throughout the winter and all school year long.
So a couple add-ons. Let's call it average play-by-play first. Let's just be clear. Let's be.
I will put great play-by-play by Corey Tackman.
Let's be reasonable about this. That's you basically touched on it. Where whatever. It's just an opportunity to get these games in another avenue for us, which is pretty exciting. So, Hubbard Radio-Wadena on YouTube. If you search the morning sports, whatever it is, find us on YouTube, search Hubbard Radio-Wadena. These are not,
and then boom, it'll show up right away on your page.
We're calling it a soft launch, CJ, because not everybody in the building has done this yet. So like there's still some technical things that we're starting to work out and figure out, and the product is hopefully going to get better as we go. But it's out there and it's available. Both of our games tonight, you should be able to watch on our YouTube channel. Just search Hubbard Radio-Wadena, and we'll be live. We'll be live with games now on your radio station, in some instances on the worldwide internets, and on YouTube as well, which I understand is also the internet, but you understand what I mean.
Right, exactly. You can just catch the audio version if you just want it. If you just want to go to wadenaradio.com/KWAD and just have it on your phone while you're doing work or doing other stuff on your phone, that's fine.
Do I need to start wearing a suit now, like I am on TV? Like, is that what you're requiring of me now, or can I go up in my usual pajama pants and the like?
Theater of the mind, you only need to wear a suit above, and then you don't even need to wear any pants underneath. You can just do the Ron Burgundy and just have your boxer shorts underneath. That's perfectly fine for our broadcast. Now, the schools won't let you in, but, for the sake of the argument, we just got to worry about the top half. So
it is chilly out this time of year, so at least I will have long johns on, but it might only be long johns. I'm going to look like Ernest.
Exactly. So, it's pretty much it. You thought the airwaves were, you thought Corey Tackman was taking over the airwaves. Wait till he takes over your YouTube feed.
With a wink and a smile.
All season long. So again, we worked through some stuff. We're going to work through some difficulties. We're going to work through some kinks in the road. We're hoping that we can kind of keep subtly improving as we're going on. We have plans to do more. So this is not the complete 100% finished product, but dang it, we want to make sure we get games on our platform and kind of baby step this thing along the way. So in our Inside Baseball Talk, more is coming, but we just want to make sure we can crawl before we can run a little bit here, and getting you guys used to what we're doing and making it better along the way. So that's awesome. Okay. All right, Corey, we got a couple state sports things to talk about, including Minnesota Twins ownership update. Unfortunately, Pohlads still the majority owners, but some information on more that kind of went into the team and getting rid of debt. And Kevin O'Connell having some words against his quarterback's celebration into the end zone. That and more. But first, a place that has no controversy whatsoever because everybody's in agreement it's the best place ever, Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Don't miss out on trying their delicious, limited time only Chicky Boom Boom Salad. I wish I had like a little reverb mic effect when I said that. That would have been
Solid.
Chicky Boom Boom Salad, packed with sliced chicken, sweet peppadew peppers, and their very special Boom Boom sauce. That's what Rick Young
Boom sauce.
Bauer used to call me Boom Boom. There's a few people around who still throw that my way. So anyway, this is I've had it, by the way. It's wonderful. It's the Chicky Boom Boom Salad for a limited time only on the salad bar at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, state sports. Let's start with the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell had some words about J.J. McCarthy's gritty into the end zone. Of course, we're talking about Vikings win for it on 4th and goal. Had kind of a, I'm going to say it's a read option play, but most likely he was a quarterback keeper all the way. And crashed in, and J.J. McCarthy was untouched into the end zone, and he was grittying before he even crossed the goal line. And it's a cool moment, and you can see Chris Collinsworth it's like, there's a little bit of that swagger and stuff like that. And it's cool to see J.J. McCarthy playing with confidence, especially considering the season he's had. And there's a thing about a quarterback that's only lost 2 games his entire career coming into the NFL, which you're just going to lose. That's going to be part of it and how you deal with that. To see McCarthy still having the confidence is great to see. However, his coach said, he did that in practice this week, and I explicitly told him not to do that. Now, I think it comes across because they won is like, hey, it's a great moment. I just want to point out there that I told JJ not to do that. And there's an interesting development in this. I think it needs to be prefaced with, this probably isn't that big of a deal. But also, there is an interesting wrinkle into like JJ McCarthy. Again, you should probably just listen to your coach, man.
I want to be... I don't care. I want to clarify this a little bit. This is the first time in Kevin O'Connell's career he has to be somebody's dad, right? He's young. He's younger than I am, or he's my age or whatever. Like, he coached Kirk Cousins.
They were like peers.
Together. Sam Darnold has been around for a long, long time. Like, J.J. McCarthy's 22 years old. This is a child. This is a small child playing football right now. So Kevin O'Connell has to be dad. It's one of those situations where like we haven't yet seen that for Kevin O'Connell is not dad, is not Harrison Smith's father, right? He needs to be, he's JJ's dad right now. So it's nothing more. You don't want this to get away from JJ, so you have to say it. You say it in practice. You have to say it publicly. They weren't losing. He didn't trot in and do the gritty. And
it was a game-tying touchdown.
Wars. Yeah. It was like a big that it is. There's nothing wrong with it. Kevin O'Connell doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. It's one of those things you got to nip before it gets out of hand, because not everything else has been good for JJ. So it's a classic act like you've been here before situation, and Kevin O'Connell is JJ's daddy. That's all this is.
Right. Exactly. And it's the thing of like, again, is this going to spiral into where he's going to be like, well, Kevin O'Connell told me to throw it here, but I want to throw it here. Is that what it's going to lead to? Probably not. But yeah, it's just like a course correcting thing of like the fact that he had to go back out to the media and be like, I told him in practice not, which is a funny story also just in general, like told him not to do that. And he did it.
CJ, did he come out and make a point, or was he asked, hey, Kevin, what'd you think about JJ's little grit? You know what I mean? Like was it that the answer came from a question, presumably. It wasn't like he like, oh, by the way,
right,
I did tell JJ not to do, like, this is not a Mike Zimmer thing, right, where he like left the room, came back, called his player out, and then
did. Now, to be fair, he could have just not said anything entirely, but yeah, I know what you're saying. So, and it's the other thing too of like, I think overall because people are making a bigger deal of this than I think, where they're like, oh, KOC keeps taking shots at McCarthy or whatever. This also just might be because, I mean, these are a megaphone, right? Like these are going to get clipped. They're going to get put on social media. They're going to get put on whatever. And this may just be Kevin O'Connell's like backhanded way of letting Coach Schottenheimer know with the Cowboys, like, hey man, my guy kind of went rogue there. I'm letting you know that like I told him not to do it. He did it. I'm telling him again to kind of put him on blast here. We're not like trying to show you guys. We're not like, we're not trying to pimp a home run here on you guys.
This is we've talked 90 seconds to 3 minutes about this, and it's not. It's right. Too much. It's nothing. Like I understand we need to talk about it because other people have blown this thing up. What I'm saying is, it's nothing. This is nothing.
Right.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Does Justin Jefferson get chastised for doing the gritty? Justin Jefferson grittied halfway across the end zone before he realized there's a penalty. Did Kevin O'Connell come out and say, hey, maybe wait and make
Jefferson's first ever career touchdown, by the way, he grittied into the end zone.
It doesn't matter. This is nothing. This isn't nothing like, oh, you guys are this is nothing so much as like I try to tell JJ McCarthy not to blow his nose in the middle of the huddle because it's kind of gross. Like it means as much as that. Stop farting in the huddle. It's as much as that.
I had to tell him to zip up his pants before we go into church because it's embarrassing. Like that's.
Are you going to tie your shoes? Yeah. Are you going to tie your? That's all. It's nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah. All right. Here's something that is a little more of a something. So the Minnesota Twins didn't announce, but it's been reported now, and I'm guessing the Twins basically were willing to leak out this information before the official announcement. But according to Dan Hayes of The Athletic, partial team sale will significantly clear Twins finances, may set table for future sale. That's the title of the article. I don't want to give the whole thing away. Go read his piece. Dan Hayes does a great job covering the Twins. But the Twins are nearing the close of a partial sale that will clean up the club's finances in what was described as a significant manner and could set the stage for a more lucrative deal in the future. Of course, that's talking about ownership, not like Twins are like now going to go sign the top free, go sign Kyle Tucker or something like that. But what this says is selling more than 20% of the franchise to 3 minority partnership groups. So it's not that one person is buying up 20%. It's 20% is being sold off to 3 different people, some of which are based in New York, some of which are based in Minneapolis. But nonetheless, they've sold off parts of that stake, and the team is going to use the proceeds of that to pay off what Dan Hayes described, by the way, is $500 million in debt, which it's been reported the Twins are $300 million in debt. The Twins are $420 million in debt. And maybe it's grown bigger over the course of the last 6 months. I don't know. But also now all of a sudden that number is 500, not near 500. He just used 500 million, which I just find fascinating. Like that's neither here nor there, but it's just like this number keeps growing. So awesome, guys. Great job owning the team. And so basically this is going to help a club $500 million in debt return to sound financial footing while also requiring the addition of 3 seats to the team's ownership advisory board. So assuming one person from each group gets a seat kind of on the ownership board, whatever. And it kind of talks about originally it was 2 limited partnerships, repeated delays, smaller ownership groups emerging. Basically, there was just kind of a lot of different things that had to happen. And of course, all of these needed approval from the other owners to let them kind of into the family, so to speak. Of course, the team was on the market and then took themselves off after the trade deadline. And it kind of talks about the Twins, basically COVID and things like that prevented fans from coming, especially after the 2019 season. And then, 2021, the team didn't play well and there was limited stuff. 2022, they collapsed at the end and ticket sales weren't that great. 2023, the team made the playoffs, but while the playoff games sold out, like the team didn't necessarily get a ton of ticket sales. They slashed payroll before 2024, which took out any momentum the team had coming off of 2023. And then not having Bally Sports and going to MLB.TV, limited stuff. And it basically just kind of talks about why not the teams were reluctant to be owners of a Major League Baseball team, but why teams weren't willing at the current moment to foot a $1.7 billion price tag for the Twins. And this is where it talks about the path to a particular kind of the path to a particular sale potentially down the line. From a quote with knowledge of the transaction in August, said those of us who are following the industry closely have a much rosier view of where the game is going, and the Twins in particular. Anyone who buys a sports team is doing it on what they think they will achieve in the future, not what it's done in the past or what it's doing today. The Pohlads, of course, say they're committed to owning the team, and they haven't said like, hey, we're going to sell in 4 years. But the kind of thought process down the line, Corey, is there's a potential lockout coming in 2027. Everybody knows that this is down the line. There's one more year left of the collective bargaining agreement. It's going to get brutal again. Who knows if they'll be able to play in 2027 or if there's a limited season or whatever. There's going to be a work stoppage. It's going to be a lot because of the salary cap disputes. There is going to be some tooth and nail kind of big structure changes that Major League Baseball wants. But also, Major League Baseball with the regional sports networks and kind of that industry cratering and streaming and all these different things. Major League Baseball has announced some new media deals with NBC getting Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN kind of getting the umbrella of MLB.TV, and some other things as well. But they are only slated to go till 2028. And in 2029, all of the regional sports network contracts are done, and Major League Baseball is telling teams, do not renew them because we are going to basically use all 30. We're going to package all 30 teams to networks, to whatever, as the entire Major League Baseball umbrella to try and get a new media rights deal. And I think there is thought of once baseball gets through a lockout and once a deal is announced of like what a new media rights thing would look like, that would theoretically bump up the valuation of a club. And then it would be more lucrative, one, for the Pohlads to sell and lucrative for a potential buyer just because there is more certainty in the product they are buying.
So it's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot of a bunch of miscellaneous things that all kind of connect into a larger picture.
So my question is right now, as a Twins fan, why does any of this matter? Does it matter yet? Is it not meant to matter right now?
In the sense of basically, because there was talk, of course, that the Twins were going to keep slashing payroll, and all of a sudden they stopped in their tracks. Basically, when they realized that they are going to get out of debt, at least pretty close to it, at least that giant gaping hole is maybe like a little sinkhole. And so basically they don't need to sell off Pablo, Joe Ryan, Byron Buxton. They can at least be willing to keep them in the short term. And so does it mean the Twins are going to go out and sign a big free agent? No. Does it mean the Twins are going to have a higher payroll than $110 million this year? No. But I think what it means is basically the slashing is done and potentially things could you're sliding down the hill. You've at least found some footing. How much higher are you going to climb? Probably not. But there is a sense of like the sell-off from a financial standpoint is most likely done.
Okay, so allow me just the pessimistic
approach
here.
Well, and pessimistic about the Twins ownership group? Why would you ever feel that way?
Feel free to correct me, but like you have said here in multiple different metaphors that it's not a gaping hole, but it's still a sinkhole, or I've slid down the cliff, but I caught myself on a branch halfway down. The metaphor implies that you're still at the bottom of the hole.
Oh, yeah.
Halfway down a cliff. Why wouldn't they still sell off? Because that if you're still in the hole, that means you're still not at net neutral, at net even. What is prevent even the signing of the 3 minority owners here, or whatever the number is, the 20%? Why, like, they're minority owners. They don't get a final say in all of this still. Why wouldn't the Pohlads still try to get themselves back to zero?
It could be, and this is, again, financial world stuff. So, like, in the finance industry, these big companies and smaller companies too, but basically they're okay with a little bit of debt, and they use some of that debt to get them, or they take out debt to kind of pay forward for the next quarter. And then basically because like your profits don't always come in at the same time. So you take out some money to make sure you can cover all your expenses. And then when you get your big payday, you kind of can pay off all those debts and then kind of reset the cycle. So I think this went from like, this is a huge problem to like, all right, we have a little bit of debt. Every team has a little bit of debt here and there. And this can kind of get us through. It's a manageable issue. And we're kind of going to get through to the next few years when a big media rights deal is going to come, and we'll have a huge influx of cash that can get us out of it. But also your main point is still stands, Corey, of this team is going to have a payroll of $110 million, which adjusted for inflation and league spending is Metrodome era levels, which we were assured would never happen. And that is still the biggest thing. Yes, the sell-off is done in terms of they are done, but also it's not like, all right, we're done. Now let's go sign a big free agent. It's all right. Well, we stopped falling down the hill and we broke our arm and we broke our leg. And now at least we're not going to get more injured, but our arm and our leg are still broken.
Yeah. And that's this. It's only this is a right now. Like, what if the Twins suck and Byron Buxton is having an MVP level career? That dude's gone. What if Pablo is having a Cy Young competitive sort of year? Other teams are going to offer the kitchen sink
even if he doesn't, what if he's just a nice starting pitcher? Teams will trade for that. Yeah.
So I get you can say all that stuff up front. That makes sense. And what you're saying financially is true, but aren't the Pohlads using the Twins as their debt collector for their other businesses? So that sense if the Twins are their primary business venture, what you're saying, but the Pohlads have other primary business ventures that they're using the Twins to help fund.
By the way, they do. I mean, the Twins are not their main spender because, as everybody likes to point out, and this is correct, as terms of ownership groups and their net worth, and again, net worth doesn't always mean liquid capital and things like that, but they're one of like the top 8 richest ownership groups in baseball. So
thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, which is very true. So anyway, yeah, it's not official. We don't know, and whatever. And teams will claim they lost this much money, and teams will claim this much money. And every time they go, okay, well, if that's true, like open up your books, let us see how bad it is. And they go, we're not going to do that. And it's like, well, you said you did. Yeah, but just source, trust me, bro. I'm hurting.
Weird. We can't quite take a billionaire at their word. It's funny, isn't it?
Especially when they want to cry poor.
All of it. I hate all of it because it doesn't matter. Like,
you're 100% right, by the way. Yes, the Twins are hanging on basically to try and salvage morale because, I mean, if they sell Lopez, Ryan, and trade Buxton, team season tickets already cratered. Like, people canceled season ticket memberships after trading Carlos Correa and the sell-off. And outside of Duran, there wasn't a ton of, like, I don't think Carlos Correa was beloved by every member of the fan base. I think he was appreciated, but I don't think he was beloved. But if you would have traded Byron Buxton, I mean, season ticket, if you would trade Pablo Lopez, Byron Buxton, Joe Ryan, 3 of the most popular, if not like 1, 2, 3 most popular members of this team, you will have no season ticket base. Whatever is left will be decimated. So there is a bit of like trying to save face long enough. And then you hope by that time, Walker Jenkins, Luke Keyshaw, Royce, one of those two can at least become marketable enough where you're like, hey, we still got Keyshaw or something.
Doing the bare minimum is not enough for a win and praise. You don't like as long as so I mean, I'm joking a little bit, but also not. When we get to February and we start really ramping into Twin stuff and that happens, I will not let you talk me into being excited about the Twins.
I'm not saying you should be excited. I'm just giving you, this is just where things are.
I'm just saying that is a part of this where like I'm happy and excited for individual players, but I cannot be thrilled about the direction that this organization is taking. And that includes ownership selling off 20% to minority ownership. It changes zero things. It changes zero things because all they're doing is eliminating their debt. They're not relinquishing power. They're not relinquishing decision-making. They are going to try to sell the team still. This is they suck, man. And the Twins organization and the Twins fans are taking a square to the nuts.
Right. And by the way, there's another interesting thing too. It's believed that Tom Pohlad, the older brother of the team's executive chair, Joe Pohlad, will take on an expanded role in the ownership group. So, and there's been talk of like, there's certain, because this is a bit like, again, the grandpa owned the team, his kids had control, and now it's gotten to the point where some of the other there's just a lot of different, the Pohlads are a big family. Like, and they're like, as the extended family grows wider, there's just a lot of people who have their hands in this cookie jar. And it's been reported there's a good amount of hands that want out of the cookie jar. And there's enough of them that still kind of want to hold on to the baseball team to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of now family drama a little bit too. And again, they don't get to suffer because either they get to keep the baseball team or they get to come away with a profit and the fans suffer. So that's great.
Yeah, no, family drama is always good for an organization. This will end up really well.
Exactly. So anyway, all of this is to say, does this, because I know that there's some Twins hopeful that are like, oh, new investors got us out of debt. Now the team will be willing to spend. No, that is not going to happen. This team will still probably have a payroll of 110 million coming into next year.
If the Twins are good in 2026, it will be in spite of ownership's best effort.
Right. And by the way, this is the unfalsifiable thesis, right? If the Twins suck, they are going to go, well, shoot, got to get rid of Pablo and Joe and Buxton. They just couldn't do it. Time to chase them out of town. And then if you win, you go, see, we could win without spending money. We don't need to spend more money. Look at us. We're winning right now. It's what Cleveland does all the time. Like, that's what their ownership sells to people. And by the way, people hate Cleveland's ownership.
As a Twins fan, I want you to think deep down inside of you how you feel and how much you respect what the Angels have done to Mike Trout and what the Angels have done to Mike Trout fans and Angels fans over the last decade of his career. How do you really feel about that? Think about how you feel about that, because that's what's happening to you right now. We're in it. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
May we rest in peace.
Hey, at least Byron Buxton's been to the playoffs in 1920 and 23. Mike Trout hasn't been to the playoffs since 2014. God dang it. Why? This is just more of a, I feel bad for Mike Trout. Oh, man.
Hate to break it to you, man.
He also signed the extension. So, you know, he could have went anywhere. That's all. Like, not that I'm not blaming him, but also it's everybody feels bad for Myles Garrett in Cleveland. He signed the extension. So
this is the thing that'll make you feel, I don't give a single crap that Mike Trout is from Philadelphia. Do we have to show him at every freaking Eagles game?
No, it's either him or Karl Anthony Towns.
It's like, oh, Mike Trout's at the game. We know. We know he is. He's at every Philadelphia game. It's the same, like, oh, Taylor Swift's here. We know. We got it.
He's been at less and less games when the team has been bad.
It's like that. I just don't no one cares. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Lots of people care. That's why they do it. They wouldn't do it if people didn't care. I don't care. So anyway, I put the game on mute.
Right. It's the every time you'd watch a old Chargers game a decade ago and Antonio Gates would catch a pass and they go, do you know he played basketball in college? And it's like, all right, man.
All that stuff. The Adrian Peterson's got a strong handshake. Adam Thielen was went to Minnesota. All that stuff. It's like, it's just stupid. I don't like any of it.
Yeah. All right. That's about it. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch FunZone. A really great note to end on. So, all right. The good news is they got Josh Bell, so all hope is saved in Twins territory.
No, it isn't.
They will add a $1 million reliever to a 1-year deal, and their bullpen will be fixed.
No, it won't.
Hey. Shenanigans always happen in Twins territory. All right, we're out of here.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.